Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first Coalition Security Week. I am extremely excited about kicking off this multi-day event for us over here at Coalition. My name is Tiago Henriques. I'm the General Manager for Customer Security at Coalition. My team has three big responsibilities at Coalition: large-scale data collection, customer-facing platforms, and also security analysis of data. Joining me today for this presentation is Will Andre. Will, do you want to introduce yourself?
Of course, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Will Andre. I'm the Senior Manager for Product Marketing here at Coalition, and I'm excited to be with everyone and to dive into what should be a quick presentation around Coalition Control, which is our platform for controlling risk inside your organization. And with that, I think we've got a couple little housekeeping items to help everybody get the most out of this session. There's a chat function that enables you to communicate in real time, and then a Q&A for our Q&A at the end of the session. We'll have about 10 minutes of an overview, maybe 15, depending on how quickly we can get through it, and then about 15 minutes of a demo inside an environment, and then time for Q&A at the end. So we should be wrapped in about 45 minutes. We thank you for joining us. And of course, if you have to jump at any time, this session will be emailed to you at the email that you registered with. So with that, here's a little bit about what we'll discuss today. We'll do a platform overview and show you how easy it is to sign up for Coalition Control, and then also dive into some of the features of automated scanning and monitoring. There are some additional features which we have built into the platform, which we think are of great interest to many of you on this webinar. And then we'll also dive into a little bit about the insurance and cybersecurity partnerships that we offer. Then we'll have a demo and a little bit of Q&A. So kicking things off, what is Coalition Control? Coalition Control is our free software as a service platform that enables organizations to automatically monitor their online infrastructure for risks and vulnerabilities. We'll show you shortly how to sign up for this. We've worked really hard to make it as frictionless as possible. And some of the key benefits that you'll find inside Control are continuous automated scanning and monitoring of your attack surface. And this is a really important aspect of what we do here at Coalition. It's the basis for our underwriting engine, and also helps organizations just get great visibility into what they've got on their internal infrastructure. Shadow IT is a big focus recently, just about people understanding how their attack surface may have sprawled. So Coalition Control helps you identify a lot of that. Monitoring third parties is also another hot topic. We'll show you some of how Control manages that. And then you can share reports in your dashboard with the IT department, with the C-suite, even with the board of directors, as vulnerabilities are surfaced and discovered. And then lastly, one of the major benefits and the sort of linchpin of our entire Security Week here is some of the savings on cybersecurity solutions that you're able to get as a Coalition policyholder through our network of partnerships. So signing up, we encourage you all to do it. You can do it right now if you like. You go to control.coalitioninc.com. You will see an explanation and a sign up page for you to just enter your business email address. So that's no Gmails, it's no Yahoos, and things like that. But if you have a domain, go ahead and type in your business email address for your organization, and then hit free sign up. You'll get a couple of emails to confirm that it's you. And then right away, automated scanning and monitoring gets to work behind the scenes to start mapping your assets and enumerating your attack surface. Once you've done that, you'll be entered into your dashboard. And this is the collection of information around your organization and the calls to action that you might be asked to take. And this is a collection of everything from your risk ranking and how your company or organization ranks relative to others within your industry. You might see the average cost of a cyber insurance policy. And then moving further down the page, you'll see your risk management summary, which has all of the risks organized by criticality. So that's from critical, high, medium, and low. And then also organization by asset types. Beneath that, you'll see some summaries of recommendations and how to remediate a lot of all of the risks that have been enumerated here. And then at any time, if you need help or to escalate some of your business priorities, you can fire off a chat to our customer success team, who can get you in the right direction. Tiago, do you want to talk a little bit about the dashboard?
Sure. From a dashboard perspective, if you are the head of security or a CISO for an organization, what you're going to want to focus on are the levels of vulnerabilities and the top vulnerabilities found. So to give you an idea, if your organization has a critical vulnerability, what we consider at Coalition a critical vulnerability is something where an attacker would just have to run one command or one script to be able to take control of one of the assets owned or used by your company, or access to some data that belongs to your organization. So if you have a critical vulnerability, you are going to want to keep an eye out for those. Under that, we will give you the top vulnerabilities found, which you can also should also focus on fixing by that specified order.
Yeah, so clicking into that a little bit, when you click on any of these details, you'll be taken to your attack surface summary. And this is the summary page for automated scanning and monitoring within Coalition Control. And as a free sign-up user, you get quarterly scans of your attack surface and dashboard alerts with your free account. There are upgrade paths within the product where you can add additional scanning and deeper monitoring to your organization. And then from here, you can click into any one of these lists of vulnerabilities and get a greater level of detail. And that's what you see here. This was clicking into one of the medium risk vulnerabilities that was surfaced. And here you'll get a detailed explanation of what the risk is, and then recommendations on how to remediate it, including some external references so you can validate your the findings across some third-party materials. The affected asset is also highlighted, so you can see exactly which IP address is being impacted, and then the time of the last scan and when that vulnerability was detected. And then, of course, we bring in the hard evidence beneath that. And this is for every vulnerability that is detected. Tiago, do you want to talk a little bit more about some of these details?
Sure. So for every vulnerability, you're always going to find a title, a description, a recommendation that includes references, so that you get a clear picture of what we are notifying you of or what the vulnerability is. You also find evidence, because we're always trying to focus on positive findings, and in the evidence field serves as a support that it is not a false positive. Vulnerabilities are a dynamic topic. So if we look back at March, there was a big vulnerability that came out from Microsoft Exchange, and within 24 hours, all of the policyholders affected by it were notified of it. Now, it's no longer just for policyholders. Every organization can sign up for Coalition Control and receive the benefits of having the security teams at Coalition also monitor your assets and notifying you when a vulnerability associated with those comes out.
Excellent. And so what are the key benefits of having a platform like this at your disposal is that you can track how your asset and remediations have happened over time. And your attack surface tracking is on the dashboard page. Oops, excuse me. Is on the dashboard page of your automated surface, automated scanning and monitoring account. So you can view your summary. You can see where the vulnerabilities were at the time that you were scanned. and then make get sort of a bird's eye view of how these have been remediated over time, and if there's still areas of focus that you need to be working within your organization. Any further comment here, Tiago?
I was just going to say, over time, you want to see those vulnerabilities going down. Of course, going down isn't always the case, because there are things that we will show you on that plot that are out of your control. An example of that is lookalike domains. These are domains that look very similar to yours that attackers sometimes will register to use for social engineering, phishing attacks. So if you start to see that line for lookalike domains going up, it means we're finding domains that attackers are registering to potentially attack your company, and you want to pay attention to that. And if you are a Coalition policyholder, you should reach out to Coalition, as we can help you get in touch with the registrar to help you with the takedown process for those lookalike domains.
Fantastic. And so we have multiple tiers of automated scanning and monitoring that are available within Control. If you've just signed up, you have access to the free tier, which enumerates all of your assets. It discovers the technologies, vulnerabilities within your infrastructure, and then also brings in any publicized data breaches of your users within your organization. The upgraded path comes free with any Coalition insurance policy, and that starts to bring in even more information. So that, again, is lookalike domains. That's honeypots. So anytime your organization is is calling out into the wild, we have a network of honeypot sensors that will pick up any sort of rogue transmissions that may be calling to command and control infrastructure at some point. We will scan the internet to pick those up on our network of honeypots. And then any torrent activity, sometimes that's used to disguise malware. So we monitor that activity coming into your network, and then also the ability to search for keywords in the event of internal information that may be available on paste bins in the public web. Additionally, we bring in more monitors. So this is third-party monitoring, and one of the key benefits that we'll dive into here in a moment is the ability to monitor a third party or multiple third parties for their attack surface as well. This has been a hot topic of late, and we'll be sure to bring that into the demo in a little bit. You also get higher frequency of scans and deeper scans. So the free tier is currently scanning the 250 most compromised ports. The upgraded scanning will bring you into all 65,535 ports within your assets. Tiago, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the additional benefits here?
Sure. In these days, isn't just about monitoring yourself. Why it's important that you get an upgraded account? Well, because you can monitor other organizations as well. Why would you want to do this? Well, just less than a week ago, we had the absolute perfect example why this is important. You might have heard that there was a large software company called Kaseya that got hacked, which in turn led to different managed service providers across the USA getting hacked, which then led to ransomware attacks on the customers of those MSPs. And this is why it's important. It's no longer just about your assets and your data being contained in your computers. Your vendors, how are they securing your data? So you can come into Coalition Control and add your third-party vendors, add your MSPs, add your IT service providers, and monitor what is their security exposure and demand more security and best practices from them.
Fantastic. So another feature inside of Coalition Control is the Coalition risk assessment. And our feedback from customers is consistently that they love this downloadable PDF, which is available for any free user and obviously any policyholder to download at any time. And this is a PDF summary of all the risks and recommendations that that we discover within your organization. I say all, it is limited to, I believe, the first 10 or 20 asset lists, or sorry, individual assets that are discovered. The full list, of course, is available inside Coalition Control. But here you get the executive summary, you get your risk ranking relative to organizations, similar organizations within your industry. And this is really a great way to socialize and share your findings with those inside your organization. It can be downloaded on demand, sent via email, however you wish to promote this or to use this for your own benefit. And of course, if if you're a broker of insurance, and your customers will have access to this as well, and you can help to show them what the different risks are and how they might be able to remediate them in order to lower their risk profile. Tiago, anything here?
Not much more to add. The only thing that I would add here is that these PDFs get updated when we launch new scans. If you are a policyholder, you receive automatic updates every month. If you are a freemium user, you get an upgrade every 3 months.
One of the most commonly requested features that we've built into Coalition Control is the ability to share these findings with technical team members. And so at the top of every page inside Coalition Control is a button that says invite. And you click on this button, and it allows you to email an invitation to collaborators so that they could also see the vulnerabilities in the enumerated assets for your organization. This is really important because we have a lot of different user types that come into Coalition Control. Sometimes it's a business owner, sometimes it's an internal IT person, sometimes it's an external IT person or group. And we wanted to make it as easy as possible for people that can remediate risks to be able to see what the risks are and to take action on them. So this is a global feature inside Coalition Control. It's available in the top navigation, and we encourage you to try it out and to make sure that the people inside your organization who are technical and who are able to make these remediations have access to your reports. Tiago, what do you think about the invite feature?
The invite feature is excellent. And if you are an insurance buyer, you should consider adding all your technical team. This is important because when we start notifying you of security vulnerabilities, they will be the ones receiving those notifications, not just the person that registered or that bought insurance. If you are a freemium user, you should also consider adding your technical teams because they will also get those notifications, even though the scans are more spread apart.
Yeah, excellent. So it's a very, very cool feature, very useful. You can see here, there's a default to an entry field, and then you can add more collaborators as you may need. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Watchlist and third-party monitoring. This is a really important topic, and it's only growing in importance, as Tiago illustrated with some of the recent events in the industry. At the bottom of your dashboard page, there is a section called My Watchlist, and this is where you can, as a freemium user or on the free tier, you're able to add a company to your watch list, and this would be a vendor, a supplier, or a partner whose systems may be somewhat integrated or touch yours in some cases, and you want to make sure that their risks are not being transferred to you, or that you're not assuming them in any way. So as a free tier user, you can add one company or organization to your watch list. As a policyholder, you can add up to 5, and there are again upgrade paths inside Coalition Control to build this out to a size that may suit your organization. Again, it's a really important feature that we've built in here, and it's one that we encourage everyone to take advantage of. Tiago, any more color to add as far as some of the value here around third-party monitoring the watch list?
As I explained, if Kaseya was the perfect example for this, and if you are a policyholder, I strongly suggest that you add all your IT providers. Make sure you're demanding security excellence from all your vendors, as you should be aiming for as well.
Awesome. Yeah, and we wouldn't be here today without the support and the partnership of some of these incredible cybersecurity solutions. We have developed a partnership with each of the vendors that you see here and a few more. And we have enabled our policyholders to take advantage of some really significant savings on some of these cybersecurity solutions. So I'll speak briefly to each one, and you can see these within the partner technology section of the dropdown in Coalition Control. So Okta is an identity and access management platform. So that's like single sign-on. You can use this to maintain access to your applications from a single pane of glass. SentinelOne is endpoint detection and response. There's HackerOne, which will enable you to create a vulnerability disclosure program that will help you understand where your vulnerabilities are through the eyes of a hacker. And then TwinGate is a remote access control solution that works similar to a VPN, but it enables secure access to your networks through remote work. So obviously that is a very hot topic these days, and one that we're all having to navigate to some extent. And then Malwarebytes is endpoint detection and response. They scan your endpoints for malware and help you remediate risks there. And Curricula is security awareness training that is so important these days, with approximately 90% of breaches starting with human error. So that's a little bit about what we've got here. I encourage you to dive into the partner technologies inside Coalition Control. You can see on each page some of the discounts that are being afforded to Coalition policyholders. And it can't be stressed enough that we encourage you to adopt as many cybersecurity solutions as suitable for your organization. This really is a team sport. Defense in depth is more important than ever. The perimeter has expanded, data has sprawled, permissions and users have sprawled. And one of the sort of key values that Coalition Control, aside from a pure technology standpoint, brings to the table is the ability for Coalition policyholders to help plug any gaps in their security posture. Tiago, anything more here?
We are continuously adding excellent partners. Keep an eye out. If you are a policyholder, keep an eye out for these partners. We are also going to be starting to tie the security recommendations that we're giving you to these partner solutions. So not only are you getting a warning from Coalition Control, hey, there's this new vulnerability, here's how you fix it. Oh, and by the way, here is the free or discounted solution from a Coalition partner that can help you become more secure. We are really being your partner in improving your cybersecurity level.
Fantastic. And then, of course, Coalition is also an insurance company. We are offering everything cyber related. So that's cyber extortion, funds transfer fraud, network and information security liability. The laundry list of coverages, which is class leading, is available to anyone inside Coalition Control, and of course on the Coalition website as well. We expanded not too long ago into tech E&O, so that covers product and service failures for technology companies, and that's sort of a major component as the world gets a little bit more complex with each passing week, and we have risks that we need to be able to backstop, both from a technology standpoint and also from a risk transfer standpoint. So we encourage everyone to once you've come into control, you've had your risk assessment done, and you qualify for insurance, to start the quote process. And the quote process is very simple. It'll open up a chat with one of our sales professionals, and one of the first questions they'll ask you is, are you working with a broker? If you have a broker of record, then we'll assign that quote to that broker, and otherwise we will place it with a broker partner for that account. So, Tiago, do you have anything else you would like to add here before we start to look at getting into a demo?
No, I'd be excited to jump into the demo. I think it's going to be great to show all of our participants what they can expect.
Okay, very cool.
I'll take over screen sharing from you, Will. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Got it.
After logging in, you will land on a dashboard that's similar to the one that I am screen sharing. Immediately on your left, you will be able to see your risk ranking on top, also compared to your industry average. You will be able to see the number of employees, revenue, and number of records that we've identified for your company, and you can also update this information to have more accurate data. And in the big number, we will show you what a cyber event could potentially cost your organization. On the right, you will be able, we classify companies that register into control into two buckets, a good risk and a bad risk. If you are a good risk, you will see the Explore Security button, which will allow you to take a look at the different security and third partner offerings that we have at Coalition. If you are a good risk, you'll be able to see the buy insurance button, where we will place you with the broker partner and will allow you to acquire Coalition insurance. If you scroll down, you will start to see the main domain that we have detected for your organization based on the business email that you're registering with, but you can also add your own alternative domains. As you can see, there are a bunch of different domains that we try to automatically detect for your company, and you can just choose if any of these belong to you. You will see a full breakdown of vulnerabilities that we've identified, but also the types of assets that we have detected for your company. And you can also download your Coalition risk assessment, which is the PDF report that Will mentioned earlier. You have a button that says see my company details, and we'll drill into that in a little bit. I'm just going to scroll down real quick. As I mentioned before, you have all the top risky conditions we identified for your organization at the bottom of the page, but also the add a company to my watch list, which is where you can add your vendors. Let's drill a little bit into the technical details, and this is where you want your technical teams to be focusing on. As soon as you drill, you can see that the menu at the top changes, and you can see a summary of all the different findings we have for your organization. We start with the assets, which is essentially every domain or IP address that exists for your organization. I'm in the demo mode, so I actually don't have access to this feature. We have the technologies piece, where you can explore the different technologies that were identified on the IP addresses associated with your organization. Vulnerabilities gives you an overview of all the vulnerabilities that we detected for every single asset associated with your organization. And of course, you can always click into one of them and see that summary that Will mentioned earlier, where you've got the title, the description, recommendations, and also the evidence that we found that vulnerability on your asset. Data breaches is all about when third parties get hacked and their data stolen, but people from your organization had registered for those services, where we find your emails in third-party data leaks. And you can see, for example, for Acme at acme.com, we found this data in a data leak called City Zero Day. And if you click on it, you can see all the different types of data that were present in this data leak as well. Ideally, what you want to do when you see this, for example, where a password was present, you want to make sure that you've changed your password. For example, in this case, was on a platform called Promo. And you want to make sure that you change your password anywhere that you're using it, because hackers will try to start using these passwords from the data leaks to attack your organization. Lookalike domains, as I mentioned before, it's when hackers register similar domains to the one you own by your organization. And you can see here when a website, a lookalike domain is activated, that we add these tags MX, which means a email DNS entry was added, or an SSL certificate. And what you want to do is you want to reach out to a registrar or reach out to Coalition if you're a policyholder, and we will help you with the takedown process. Honeypots is when we have Coalition owns a network of sensors that are spread out on the internet, and we can monitor what other organizations are scanning for. And what that means is if a computer on your network gets infected with malware, typically attackers will ask your computer to start scanning for other computers that they can infect. Our honeypots are constantly listening to all this internet traffic, and we'll try to identify when there's potentially a device owned by our organization that has been found scanning other devices on the internet. We also monitor for torrent downloads and also keywords, which are, for example, your organization name in hacker chatter, in dark forums, hacker forums, paste bins, and lots of other sources that can potentially mean that your organization is being targeted. You get access to all of these features for free as part of your coalition policy. And you can also register for free at control.coalitioninc.com for a free account. Will, back to you.
Fantastic. Well, that was an awesome demo. Thank you for that. And I see that we have some questions that have been answered in the Q&A. Let's see if you have some questions, go ahead and type them in, and let's see what we can do. Tiago, you're on mute.
Someone asked, how quickly are we notified about breaches? Coalition scans all policyholders once a month, unless there is a situation like Kaseya or Microsoft Exchange, where we will turn scanning more aggressively and might scan you multiple times a month. But anytime we scan you, we notify you of findings. So average cadence is once a month. If there is a big security event happening that Coalition is monitoring for, it might be more than once a month.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, the big sort of systemic breaches are obviously a challenge for the entire industry and for anybody with a lot of assets to monitor. So it's more important than ever to get your arms around what you've got and make sure that you've got everybody sort of oriented around the overall security posture of the organization. So thanks, Elmas. We've got a question. Is this a new feature for policyholders? It is. Control is all new. Much of the technology that is behind Coalition Control has been the engine around Coalition's insurance underwriting. But now we've enabled policyholders to see this, as the same way that we see it. And to be able to keep track of their attack surface as time goes on. So thank you for that question. Yes, it is new. If you have a Coalition policy, you can log in at control.coalitioninc.com/login.
Joel Goldberg asked, we are a policyholder, but I see our last update was in May. It was indeed end of May. We spent June to fine tune the way we were doing our scanning. And by the way, as Coalition is doing things different from the rest of the market, we are also still learning a little bit. So we spent June to fine tune how we're doing scanning, the things we're doing scanning for. We added almost 150 new vulnerabilities to our engine. So we actually triggered a new set of scans for policyholders on Friday. So you'll be getting an updated data and scan notification from us in the next 2 to 3 days.
Excellent. Let's see. Chris, sorry about your password reset issue. Go ahead and start a chat, and we'll be able to get that looked into for you. Let's see. Jeff, have current policyholders been notified by Coalition of this service, or is this up to the brokers to advise your insurance? You're welcome to advise your policyholders now that this is available. We are also, every policyholder was invited to this introduction webinar. And we'll also be following up with some additional announcements directly to policyholders. But if you have a communication that you'd like to get out to them, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Again, team sports, the more the merrier, and the more sort of touch points that we can get with customers and policyholders, the more secure we can keep them. Thank you.
Thomas asked, is there a way we can be notified of a breach at the time of breach to minimize the damage? That depends. There are some breaches where we cannot detect it. We can detect that you have said vulnerability when the vulnerability comes out. But Coalition does try to, when a new vulnerability, a critical vulnerability comes out, we try to scan and notify in less than 24 hours. We're also working on a process where we will start to collect data from when companies get breached, and we will monitor and proactively notify you when you're found on a third-party data breach as well. Ivan asked, are the vulnerability scans similar to what Qualys can do? They overlap. Qualys also does a lot of web application scanning, so testing if the code of a web application is not working correctly, but they do overlap quite a bit. It's important to notice that the Coalition scans are all outside in, so we don't have any device. We can't see what's on your internal network, while Qualys does have products for internal network scanning. Can brokers access their client control portals? We will be giving brokers accounts where they will be able to view an overview of their entire portfolio of companies they have with Coalition. Fighting cybercrime and solving cyber risk is not something one takes on its own. It takes a village, and it's going to be us, the brokers, and the policyholders fighting together to solve cyber risk. So we will be making sure that we're giving brokers all the tools to help us make the policyholders secure. Carl McKee asks, do policyholders now have two dashboards, policyholder dashboard and Coalition control? Policyholder dashboard will be deprecated in the upcoming weeks in favor of Coalition control. We are slowly porting and notifying policyholders that they should start logging into Coalition control, but in a couple of weeks, maybe a month, we will be deprecating the old policyholder dashboard, Carla. Thank you for asking. No, Chris, thank you for joining this presentation. We really appreciate it.
Hi, Nina. The question is, does Coalition scan also for automated compliance for SOC 2 and HIPAA? That is not what Coalition Control itself does. However, that is the focus of a webinar that's coming up on Wednesday through a Coalition partner called Reciprocity. We'd encourage you, if that's a need for you or perhaps your customers, I don't know your role, excuse me, but if that's something that's of interest to you, register for the session on Wednesday for Reciprocity, and you'll be able to get more information around that. Thank you for the question.
Ian, you asked, where can you find your Coalition credentials for our policy so you can get the upgraded access? If you logged in with your Coalition policyholder email, you should have immediately gained access to the upgraded version. If not, please feel free to reach out via intercom, which should be on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and we'll make sure that we take care of it for you.
Let me get that link for you right now.
Nina, thanks you, Andre, for the answer. Luan, you can register for the Reciprocity Labs webinar using the main link where you registered for this one as well. We'll make sure that he adds the link on the chat. Hi, Alnaz. Please keep an eye on control. We're getting a lot of signups, so it might be that the system got a little bit overloaded, but we're looking right at it. If those are all of your questions, we thank you so much for joining us today for the opening of the Coalition Security Week. We are extremely excited about Control and the future of what we're bringing to the market at Coalition. I hope that you all keep an eye on Control, keep an eye on all the new features we're going to be launching in Control, and come help us solve cyber risk. We're excited to be partnering with all of you to solve this big mission. Will, anything else from you?
That's it. Thank you all so much for joining us. We've got a lot of work ahead of us in terms of combating cyber risk, and we appreciate you being on this journey with us. We really do, and thanks for spending the time with us. If you need anything, my name is Will Andre. Email will@coalitioninc.com, and feel free to reach out. Appreciate it very much. Thanks, everyone.